Hey, this is Valerie Love. How are you? I want to have a real heart to heart talk with you about your financial freedom and what that means and how you can expect to manifest it. So, I want to tell you a little story. A long time ago, a long time ago, before I became a financial planner, I was broke, busted, and disgusted. I'm not anymore. Thank you, God. I was broke, busted, and disgusted. And I was broke, busted, and disgusted for many years. I was a single mom. I declared bankruptcy twice. I've had foreclosure. I have had two repos. And I tell you one thing, the first car that got repoed, I drove it right back to the same lot that I picked it up. And I said, you know what? I will not live in terror over these bill collectors calling me. And I got to tell you something about those bill collectors that work in the car financing arena. They're the most ferocious. They're like pit bulls. They are ferocious. I hope I never talk to one of them again because they train them with a special brand of ferocity that is just unwarranted. It's just violent and ferocious and invasive. Look, I ain't gonna talk to nobody like that. I knew this about 20 years ago. I had this stretch Lincoln Continental. It was a candy apple red Lincoln Continental. I didn't want that car. My husband at the time wanted that car. He didn't have the credit. I did. And so he said, come on, come on, come on. You got to, he kept looking at this car, kept looking at this car, kept looking at this car. I was like, yeah, but we can't afford it. We can't afford it. We can't afford it. Finally, we got this business. And in the business, we were delivering Sun papers, the newspaper, and we had a newspaper delivery route. And at any given time, we could have thousands of dollars come in. Sometimes we would go to the mailbox, it'd be $8,000 in there. We had a PO box, and I remember one time my brother-in-law came to visit me, and there was stacks of mail on the dining room table because we were so busy running back and forth, running back and forth, running back and forth, delivering all these papers morning, evening, and night, getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning, and we were just crazy. We were just crazy. So my brother-in-law said to me, what are all those envelopes sitting on the dining room table? I said, oh, those are checks and payments from clients. He said, from our customers. He said, wait a minute, I've been here all weekend and you haven't opened those. They've just been piling up. You haven't touched those. What is going on? He said, how much money do you think is in there? I said, I don't know, maybe $20,000. Can you imagine that you could have $20,000 in checks and cash, money orders, payments from customers sitting on a dining room table. But because you're too busy, because I was too busy running around, I couldn't tend to the wealth and the prosperity that was coming to me. That's powerful. And so, what did money do as a result? It went hither. Well, anyway, while we had that business, and we were bringing all this money, all this money, all this money, more money than we even knew what to do with, more money, we just crazy money. It wasn't crazy money because I did make more than that later on in my real estate business. It was crazy money to us then because we didn't know what to do with it. So we had all this money and he wanted this Lincoln Continental. Well, he did not have good credit for it. I did have good credit for it. So I'm like, I don't really want to do it. I don't really want to do it. I don't really want to do it. He's like, but we can afford it. Look at all this money coming in. And the car payment was something like $636. Now this was back in like 1980 something, 1990 something. That is a huge car note. This is 2013 as I'm filming this a message to you. Do you know that in today's dollars, that's a car note of maybe $1,200? $636. Now, granted, this was a brand new Lincoln Continental. It was a beautiful car. It was beautiful, candy apple red. It was gray leather interior. When you sit in it, you just push one button after you had set all your settings, and it just go and it cupped you. I mean, that seat was just like butter. It was delicious. And then it had the little windshield wipers on the headlights, It had everything, all this stuff. I was convinced that if you fell asleep in the car, something would come out the glove box and vacuum and shampoo your hair while you're asleep, give you a massage or whatever. It just did everything. It was just that kind of car. Well, I tell you one thing, when that car got to the point where we weren't paying for it and we knew that we could not pay for it, I was not going to be talking to those people on the telephone harassing me over $636 every month because we no longer had that business. We had given up the business. And there was no way that I was going to be talking to the pit bulls of the credit collection agencies um, want to send some love right now. If you're watching this and you work in the credit collection of a car place and you absolutely hound people for the money, uh, get another job. That's get another job. Anyway, so after having about one or two run-ins with those people, like, they use scare, they have tactics. They use intimidation. They use guilt. They use all the low level, low vibration stuff they can against you so that you will dash to the nearest Western Union and wire them money. I don't think there's anything beneath them to say. I don't even know if they're governed or regulated by any particular agency or something that it should be an agency that says, don't talk to people like that. And that's just the agency's job, is they just go around and make sure that you don't talk to people like that. No. So anyway, I don't know if it's effective for them. It probably works in the short term, but I tell you one thing, I was not going to have the experience of talking to those people all the time. And I told them, let me tell you something. You tell me where to take this car, because guess what? I didn't want it in the first place. I will bring this car to you. Don't call me again. Where are you? I'm gonna drive it to you right now. Shoot. I took that car back to that car. They said, well, take it back to the car dealership where you bought it. I said, putting on my shoes right now. I took that car and drove it back to that Lincoln dealership. I said, here's the keys. Here's everything. Here's the little owner's manual. I cleaned it up real good. This is the end of that. We are done. And that was my first repo, and I learned a lot from that lesson. I learned a lot from that lesson. My second repo went a little differently. But I'm convinced, as I study multi millionaires, I'm convinced of these surprising facts about millionaires, that most self-made millionaires declared bankruptcy an average of 3.2 times before they became wealthy. That's right. Bankruptcy is a big part of becoming a self-made millionaire. Now, I noticed something about self-made millionaires. They don't seem to have any judgment at all on bankruptcy. Poor people and broke people, however, have a huge judgment on bankruptcy. They just feel so guilty. And for a rich person, it's not even an emotional decision. It's simply a decision of what looks like it's going to be in my best interest. And they crunch the numbers. And if it looks like it's best to go that way, they go that way. If it looks like it's best to go that way, they go that way. It's a business decision. It is not something that you stay up and cry over at night. However, I do notice that poor people and broke people have a tremendous amount of emotion, usually negative emotion, associated with things like bankruptcy or foreclosure or repo. I don't anymore. That's why I can talk about it freely. I don't have all that negative emotion attached to it anymore. It's simply an experience of life that you move through. That's all it is. It's an experience of life that you move through. It doesn't mean anything about you. It doesn't mean anything about the kind of person you are. It only means that there are valuable lessons to be learned in it. And if you glean all the valuable lessons with no judgment, no guilt on yourself, and you don't go into fear and worry and meltdown and stress about it at nighttime. I never really was one to try to have a whole lot of stress in my life, because I just really like to be happy most of the time. And most of the time I felt really good, and I like to feel really good. So whenever I was in a situation where it just said, you know what, this just doesn't seem like it's working, and it don't even seem worth it to be having all this angst over four wheels, when we can go somewhere, we can buy a car and maybe not have a car payment or have a lower car payment or whatever the case may be, and come to a different place. So why am I telling you this story? I'm telling you this story because most of the time, the reason we get ourselves into those situations is because we do not have a plan or a system in place to become wealthy and to maintain our wealth. Now, let me share something with you that I shared last night with our Magical Money Secret Wealth Training class. There's a bunch of us in the class, and I said this, that if you do not have a system for wealth, then you are in someone else's system, boo. If you don't have a system for your own wealth, to create your own wealth, then you are right now part of someone else's system. And I would say that if you own a bank account or maybe a few bank accounts, you are in several people's system, and you are actually helping them daily to become wealthy and to reach their financial freedom goals, yet you remain broke or not where you want to be, or experiencing some kind of lack and limitation, or not quite there yet. Where is your system? You just have to ask yourself that. Next, most self made millionaires work 59 hours per week building their empire. So, my question to you is, How many hours per week do you devote to your financial well being, your financial freedom, your wealth, your riches and creation of riches and creation of a vehicle, as we teach you in the Financial Freedom Club, creation of a vehicle that would sustain you by spitting out automatic income, whether you go to work or not? What is your plan? What is your strategy? What is your system for snipping the cord between your work and your income? If you don't have one, then it's clear why you may still be broke. That's clear. So we want to stop being bewildered about these things. Why isn't it happening for me? You want to take it out of the negative emotion arena of fear, worry, and doubt. You want to put it into perspective and say, maybe I'm not wealthy yet because I haven't done the things to become wealthy, because I don't even have the first clue about how to become wealthy, because I don't even know what wealthy really is. I've been so broke all this time. You really have to tell yourself some real truths. And after you tell yourself some real truths, you need to start taking some steps to take a new approach, get on a new plan. So I just wanted to share that story with you. Get out of the negative emotion of fear, worry, and doubt. Get into the vibration of can do, of vision, of intention, and hire a coach. I tell you one thing, when I became a financial planner at American Express, I learned more about money maybe in 1 year than I had learned in the entire 30 something years. I think I was about 37 years old when I started working at American Express, 36 years old, 37, somewhere around there. I learned more in 1 year. I would even say maybe 6 months. It was mind blowing what little I knew about how money worked in America, in the world, and how clear it was why I had never become wealthy, because there were all these systems in place that I knew nothing about. Well, if there's all these systems in place that I know nothing about, it's like being on the volleyball field and you're playing baseball. How can you win that game? You can't. You are on the volleyball field and you're playing baseball. You don't know the game of volleyball. You can't figure out the game of volleyball. That head somebody just spiked a volleyball over the net onto your head, and you sitting there with a bat waiting for somebody to pitch to you. It is not going to work. And that's what I find most people do with their finances. They're playing baseball on the volleyball field. That is not going to work. You have to, and I don't usually use the words have to. I usually like to say you get to, because there's no have tos in life. If you desire a new financial world, it means to do new things financially with your money. For years, for decades, I swirled around in stuff that was not helpful financially, even when I had a ton of money. I had a whole lot of money, and guess what? I still found ways to experience fear, worry, and doubt, lack of limitation, it having a whole lot of money. I know it sounds crazy, but that's just the way it was, right? Because it's not in the money, it's in your mind. It's in your mind. So, this is what I want to end up with. Most of us will not get there on our own. You probably will not get there on your own. You probably require some kind of support. And there are three levels of support that I would offer for you. One is get an accountability partner, get a friend, get a buddy. The two of you look each other eye in the eye and say, look, we're going to become wealthy. We are going to take our financial freedom seriously. We are going to go to a whole new level with our money. You promise me that you're going to expect the best from me and my finances, and I promise you that I'm going to expect the best from you and your finances. And when we go to Starbucks, we usually just order anything that we want. Next time we go to Starbucks, we're going to order what we like, maybe a cup of tea. We're going to be mindful of our money, and we're going to save those extra dollars. And at the end of the month, we're each going to open a share builder account, and we're going to put that extra money that we saved from having those mocha latte yaches, that is a system to get Starbucks enriched and not you. And we're going to take that extra money and we're going to buy a share of Starbucks stock. And that share of Starbucks stock, we're going to add to it every month. And next thing you know, we are proud owners of Starbucks. And when we go into Starbucks and we see we can sit and sip a cup of tea, maybe not a $5 latte, maybe a $2 cup of tea, and we're going to drink that cup of tea very happy and very pleased with self as we watch all of the people parade into our store that we now are part owners of and order all of the wonderful lattes and mochas and yakas that they're ordering. And we'd just be happy. And every time we hear the cash register ching, and every time we see them swipe a card, we know that we are on the winning side of the game, that we have just stepped from the consumer side to the beneficial wealth side. And now we are in the position to receive enormous wealth and we are prospering. That is the key. That's the kinds of things that we teach you in the Financial Freedom Club that really moves you to a new place. So anyway, that's the first level of support is an accountability partner. Get a buddy, get a buddy, get a buddy. You can't do it alone. You can't do it alone. You can't do it alone. Getting wealthy is a team sport. Can you understand words that are coming out of my mouth? I like to talk like Chris Tucker sometimes so you can really understand what I'm talking about. Look, getting wealthy is a team sport. Say it to yourself. Getting wealthy is a team sport. Getting wealthy is a team sport. I cannot go it alone. I must do it with my peeps. You got to do it with your peeps. It's a team. So number one, get an accountability partner. Number two, get a coach. Get a coach. Get a coach. Whenever there was something I really wanted to learn, I did not wander around in the woods forever. I think that is dumb. It's just stupid. Why wander around in the woods forever? Why waste your vital life force energy trying to figure it out when you can pay a coach a few hundred or a few $1,000s, or I don't know, whatever the coach is charging to get it? To get it now rather than get it later. That's what I did. When I wanted to find out how to blog, I went and I hired a blog coach. I hired one of the best blog coaches I could find. I paid him the money he was asking for, and I did the things that he was telling me to do, and I got the benefit because he told me stuff that I had no idea of. Get a coach. That's number two. Number three, get yourself into a success club. Get yourself into a group of people that are all now coming together, cheering, teaming with an intention to become wealthy. Do you know how much strength there is in numbers? That if you got together with a group of people who have in their mind to become wealthy and to do it in ways, manifesting money, doing what they love, and to be philanthropists and to change the world for better and to do all kinds of wonderful, amazing things and to make this world better for so many other people on the same vibration as Oprah and Warren Buffett and Bill Gates and Melinda Gates. Melinda and Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, some of the richest people on the planet, and also some of the most giving people on the planet. Wow, to get in that vibration, imagine if you surrounded yourself with a group of people that did that. Absolutely. You require a success club. Now, broke people will listen to this and say, hey, Reverend Val, I can't afford that. Okay, stay broke. I'm just being real with you. Okay, you can't afford it. When you keep telling yourself, I can't afford it, that'll be the truth. One day you'll say to yourself, I can't afford not to have it. Then it will shift and everything will show up for you to have it. That's how it works. So keep telling yourself whatever you want to tell yourself. The minute that that doesn't work for you anymore, you'll stop telling yourself that. I'm just being real with you. And I think you know that. I love you. If you care to join us in any of our coaching programs, I would love to be your coach because let me tell you, I can kick some butt. I wear size 11. All right, boo. I can kick some butt. And, just support you, lovingly and firmly and powerfully support you in creating a whole new, different experience, a whole new experience with your money, one that you love. That's what I did. I created a whole new experience and a whole new relationship with the money, one that I love. And it is paying off handsomely. Mwah! I love you. Be blessed. Have a beautiful day.